Welcome to Beasley Finds Peru. In this video we will explore how to travel Peru from the coastal capital of Lima all the way to the top of Huayna Picchu mountain, rising nearly 1,000 feet above Machu Picchu. Whether your goal is to summit Huayna Picchu, visit Cusco and Aguascalientes, or simply learn about how to travel Peru, this video has got you covered. In order to reach Machu Picchu and Huayna Picchu, there are many tickets to buy and choices to make. So our goal is to provide you with enough information so you can make an informed decision. Follow the steps in this video if you want to travel Peru, and especially if you are contemplating a hike up Huayna Picchu mountain. I'll let you know if it was worth it by the end of the video. Despite all the tickets you have to buy, the trip is really not too difficult, and the most important choices you have to make are about how you want to experience Machu Picchu, how to get there, and where to stay along the way. We will address all of these points and more, so without further ado, let's get going. So when should you visit Machu Picchu? The winter in Machu Picchu is the driest and best time to visit, but you can go at other times of the year if you plan for the weather. The winter of Peru is summertime in the northern hemisphere. We went there in June, and despite it being winter, the weather was perfect because Machu Picchu is in a tropical mountain zone. We also went in June in order to experience the Inti Raymi festival in Cusco. I will share more about this important festival in future Beasley Finds videos. For now, just be aware that the festival falls on June 24th, and the week of festivities is a busy time of the year. Try to get your tickets early and book everything several months in advance. There are many ways to experience Machu Picchu. Some ambitious travelers plan for a multi-day trek along the Inca Trail to arrive at this new world wonder after several days of backpacking. This video is geared more towards travelers that want to have a day of walking through the ruins, or one that includes a moderately challenging hike up Huayna Picchu mountain. This majestic mountain forms the dramatic backdrop seen in the most iconic photos of Machu Picchu. The hike up Huayna Picchu mountain is just over a mile, but you gain nearly 1,000 feet of elevation, which is like being on a Stairmaster for an hour. This was about how long it took for me to reach the top. It wasn't an easy hike, but if you're in moderately good condition, you will be able to summit without too much pain. If you're like me, you will end up lingering far too long at the top, forgetting all about going back down to see more of Machu Picchu. There are various circuits through the archaeological site. The circuit you take will depend on the ticket you buy. A ticket for Circuit 4 includes the hike up Huayna Picchu, and it's a great way to experience Machu Picchu, but it does come with trade-offs, such as not getting to walk through certain areas of the Inca temple. For example, Circuits 1 and 2 are less physically demanding, but they take you to the upper terraces where you will have an opportunity to get your own iconic photo of Machu Picchu. If I were to do things differently, I would have bought an extra ticket for the same day or the next in order to see more of the Citadel. The basic ticket is around $40, and you would get to see most of the stuff you would miss if you were to hike Huayna Picchu. By the way, there are many websites and companies that will sell you tickets to Machu Picchu, but you can buy them directly from the official site for Machu Picchu reservations, linked in the description. If you're finding this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel by hitting the red subscribe button below. It's free for you and it helps out the channel so much. Thanks. The following info on getting to Machu Picchu is accurate as of September 2022. Some of it could change over time, but the modes of travel are unlikely to change anytime soon. Step 1. Arrive in Lima, Peru. If you are flying to Peru from overseas, the first ticket you will need is to the capital city of Lima. This situation could change as they are building a new international airport in Cusco. But for now, overseas travelers will begin their Machu Picchu journey in Lima. Travelers will arrive in the Peruvian capital, where they will find themselves hundreds of miles from Machu Picchu. There are no paved roads directly there, so you must travel from Lima to Cusco by bus or plane. Cusco is the nearest major city to Machu Picchu and the ancient capital of the Incas. Step 2. Take a bus or plane to Cusco. We chose to take the bus to Cusco on our trip in June of 2022. If I could do things differently, I would have flown to Cusco from Lima and taken the bus back. spending time in Cusco and other tourist sites on the route back to Lima known as the Gringo Trail. I think this would have made dealing with altitude sickness a little easier. My wife got sick in some of the higher elevations on the way to Cusco, mostly between 12 and 16,000 feet, where the air is thin and your lungs receive less oxygen. I'll explain more about this condition later in the video. Step 3. Take a bus to Ollantaytambo train station. Although there is a train station in Cusco, the station in Ollantaytambo runs more regularly and more reliably. Ollantaytambo is an important archaeological site of the Incas. It is located in the Sacred Valley on the way to Machu Picchu. To get there, you will take a 1-hour, 30-minute bus ride from Cusco. Vans, buses, and taxis depart from Pavito Street. They begin taking travelers to Ollantaytambo at 3:30 a.m. Step 4. Take a train to Aguascalientes. The next leg of the journey is a train ride from Ollantaytambo to Machu Picchu Pueblo, which used to be called Aguascalientes and still shows up on the map as such. This is the nearest town to Machu Picchu, and you must arrive here by train because there are no paved roads. As of now, there are 2 railroad companies, Peru Rail and Inca Rail. When you book your train ticket with Peru Rail or Inca Rail, you can choose their bimodal service, which is a combination bus-train ticket. With this option, you can avoid searching for a ride from Pavito Street to Ollantaytambo because the rail companies will provide bus transportation. From the train station in Ollantaytambo, the 1-hour, 40-minute bus ride begins and will take you to Aguascalientes. Some of the tourist trains have panoramic windows and other features that you may appreciate. Check out the websites in the description below to see what type of train is most appealing and fits within your budget. Step 5. Take the bus to Machu Picchu. The last ticket you will need is from the Concetor Bus Company. Unless you plan to hike up the mountain, this is the only way to get from Aguascalientes to the entrance of Machu Picchu. The buses are comfortable and will get you to Machu Picchu in less than a half an hour. They depart all day from Hermanos Ayar Avenue. Watch out for these buses as they maneuver around the narrow street. You may be approached by official tour guides as you wait in line for the bus. They will offer you their services, and if you feel safer with a guide or want the benefit of their knowledge and experience, you might want to consider hiring one. Step 6. Reverse course and take a bus or plane back to Lima. As previously mentioned, I recommend flying to Cusco and taking a bus back to Lima. And this was the advice of my wife's family who lives in Cusco as well. I think spending a few days in Cusco before getting on a bus allows your body to adjust to the elevation change more effectively than starting in the lowlands near Lima. So what is altitude sickness anyway? As you travel to higher altitudes, there is decreased oxygen for your lungs to breathe. This can trigger a headache, nausea, and fatigue. Even if you avoided altitude sickness in the past, you could still develop symptoms, so nobody is immune. If you don't know how your body reacts at higher elevation, you may want to prepare by speaking with your physician and bringing along some medication. Cusco, the ancient Incan capital, is perched above 11,000 feet. Whether you arrive by bus or plane, you will be at a pretty high elevation, but your body will adjust to this altitude eventually. On the bus ride from Lima to Cusco, we visited the city of Arequipa, which is about 7,600 feet above sea level. But this didn't prepare us for the big elevation changes ahead. During our brief stay in Arequipa, we took a trip to Coco Canyon, where we crossed a mountain 16,000 feet above sea level. My wife had a bad headache and nausea, which was made worse by the bumpy roads and winding mountain passes. Anything between 12 and 16,000 feet made her pretty uncomfortable. You can see from the elevation profiles of the routes highlighted in purple that there are long stretches on the bus where you will be above 12,000 feet. My wife was struggling, and I was feeling a bit funky until we started a precipitous descent into the Cusco Valley. She wasn't 100% in Cusco, but we could both breathe a little easier there. Don't take altitude-related effects lightly, but do understand that this is part of the experience and you just need to take the proper precautions. Deciding between taking a bus or plane from Lima to Cusco depends on how much time you have to spend and whether you want to see additional attractions. I recommend you allocate at least 5 days to set a realistic pace for your journey. If you decide you want to experience what the south of Peru has to offer, you can travel the southern tourist route known as the Gringo Trail with Peru Hop. You can tailor your itinerary depending on the attractions you want to see along the way. You can also book excursions through Peru Hop, and they will help you with lodging, food, and logistics. For a faster and more economical bus ride to Cusco, book with Cruz del Sur. By faster, I mean about 24 hours versus several days of sightseeing along the Gringo Trail. If you decide to fly to Cusco instead, you can book with LATAM or another regional airline. The flight between Cusco and Lima is a little over an hour. Now that you know the basic steps for getting to Machu Picchu and what your options are, you might still be wondering about what to expect along the way. Peru is a large country. It's about 1/6 the size of the US, and there are some important things to consider if you are planning to travel Peru. Let's begin with safety, because that should always be number one. First off, let me say that Peru is a safe country, so long as you stick to the tourist areas and avoid becoming a target. So don't flash money around, keep your cell phone tucked away in crowded areas, and keep track of your personal belongings at all times. Driving in Lima, the capital of Peru, is dangerous and not recommended. That being said, you will need to rely on bus and taxi service. Try to stick with apps such as Uber or InDriver to avoid having to haggle for prices. As a mode of transport, buses are generally safe, but there are occasional accidents in Peru, so book with a reputable bus service such as Cruz del Sur or Peru Hop. Another safety precaution you may want to consider is travel insurance. But before buying travel insurance, check to see what your credit card might already provide in terms of coverage. The official currency of Peru is the sol, and you should get some soles at an ATM because you will only get a good exchange for cash dollars if the bills are in perfect condition. So just go to an ATM instead. The usual tip in Peru is 10%, and it may be included in your bill. If the service was excellent, I recommend adding an additional 5%, but no more than 15% is necessary. If you don't speak Spanish, you can get by in the cities, but knowing a little Spanish will go a long way in Peru. Let's talk about places to stay. Some people stay in Cusco the night before their trip to Machu Picchu, but traveling from Cusco on the day of your reservation involves almost 4 hours of riding on the bus and train before your day at Machu Picchu even begins. Rather than jumping through all of these logistical hoops on your big day, we recommend you get to Aguas Calientes a couple days in advance so that you will be well rested and only a half hour from the entrance. I am happy to say that we realized this ahead of time. We changed our train ticket at the offices in Cusco and booked lodging in Aguas Calientes. We had to catch a ride from Pabito Street, but it wasn't too difficult. Just make sure to take one of the bigger buses rather than the unofficial taxis. Because the elevation in Aguas Calientes is under 7,000 feet compared to 11,000 in Cusco, any altitude-related effects you are feeling will be much relieved. Aguas Calientes is a beautiful mountain town in a valley below the Incan archaeological site. There are lots of restaurants and spectacular views to enjoy. When we were there in June of 2022, a lot of construction was underway, and it looks like Aguas Calientes, now officially called Machu Picchu Pueblo, is set to become a destination all on its own. There are many hostels in the tourist areas of Peru. Some of them have units with private bathrooms for traveling couples, in addition to lodging for backpackers. For example, in Cusco, we stayed at the Caya Hostal. My wife and I were very comfortable there, and they even lent my wife a space heater to help with the chilly nights. There are also many hostels to choose from in Aguas Calientes. We used Booking.com to find a room, and we recommend you get there in advance of your day at Machu Picchu as well. I hope our recommendations make sense, but do leave a comment below if you need us to clarify anything or if you have a recommendation of your own. And if you are finding this video helpful, please hit the thumbs up button so the YouTube algorithm knows to share this video with other people. Thanks. We started this video with the goal of demystifying travel to Peru. We also wanted to let you know if hiking Huayna Picchu was worth it. When I was at the top of Huayna Picchu Mountain, overlooking the ruins of Machu Picchu, I knew then that it was worth it, despite all the rough and winding roads. I had a moment while at the top where I felt connected to the ancient Incas, and could easily understand why they would want to build a temple up there, although I still can't understand how they accomplished it. From my perch above the temples, you could see the mountains of Mother Earth cast upwards around Machu Picchu in all their glory. When you're up there in this sacred place, it feels like all your worries are down below, so I really didn't want to go back down. And I stayed well beyond my allotted time, so don't let the Peruvian park officials know. Machu Picchu truly is a world wonder, but Peru is a huge country with many other places to visit as well. Subscribe to our channel and look out for future Beasley Finds videos that will feature other things to do when you travel Peru. Take care.